Hi
Hey.
everyone. For the time being, we haven't really started the webinar. we're
Just
here.
warming up.
Yeah. so that people come slowly but surely. So for those who don't know me, I'm gonna introduce myself already now and introduce you Aysu very quickly. So I'm Ansam Okbani. I'm a French lawyer. I'm in Marseille right now. And Aysu Gurgan is in Turkey right now. And I'm going to introduce her in more details in a few minutes, but she's the owner of Aqua Shipping Chartering Agency. And we were just talking about the end of the lockdown in our respective countries. So you said that it's over, right?
Yeah, for now it's over, but we all are just afraid of the second wave, which is already at some countries arrived, and it did not disappear in Turkey either. I mean, the coronavirus cases, and it's increasing a little bit because we started to socialize limited, but still started, starting with 1st of June. But 1st of July was much like feeling the normal life kind of socializing, not 100%, but almost 70%. So, and it affected the numbers. Now they are increasing aggressively. I don't know. It's, you know, it's something that in the next eras we will be talking about.
That's the thing. Well, let's see the positive side. Of course, I think of all the people who got sick or even worse. But if we focus on the positive side, we wouldn't have done this virtual meeting.
True. So busy with life, catching up with everyone, right?
Yeah. So I think that's amazing that you are in Turkey, Birgit is in Norway, I'm in France, Debora is in Venezuela.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's incredible times when we see it in a positive way, of course, and we're not sick.
Well, in Germany we would meet it was in October, right? September, our meeting.
Then
hopefully we will at a time somewhere, but let's see.
Yeah, for the people who don't know what we're talking about, in Germany, it's an annual conference that is organized by WISTA, which is the Women Association of Shipping and Trading. And it exists in more than 40 countries, and it gathers all women working.
3,000, right? All around the world. It's since 1970s.
Yeah.
And females in the community gathering together. It all started with a Christmas dinner. Now look at us.
Hey, you know that story? Maybe you can share with us. I don't know that story.
Okay, it was about the tanker brokers actually, and in London, when they noticed there are only a few females, and only 12, I guess, 10 or 12. So each year for Christmas dinner, they decided together and meet up and just to see each other. And it became a tradition. It's how Vista started. They took it up from there. Now we are a huge family with 3,000 members in the family, all around the world, in many countries, and meeting up every year for the annual meeting somewhere in the world with other Vista members, which is, I find it so cool and, you know, cozy to be, you know, in that community.
And you hosted it in Turkey some years ago.
A couple of years ago, true.
Hello, Birgit.
I was waiting to be let in. Hey, how are you?
Hello.
Like in the clubs, right? Wow, you're outdoor.
I am out on deck in the Oslo fjord on my houseboat.
Nice.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Birgit, we're live on Facebook right now.
I see that.
And we're waiting for people to come slowly.
Excellent.
We were talking with Aysu about the end of the lockdown in our respective countries.
Yes.
So how is it in Norway?
It's quite more open. I think luckily, since we have a less populated country, we had a stronger lockdown before, but we were also very early to be locking down. So now there is, we have, of course, restrictions on social activities when it comes to like the closeness between people, and we have a limitation on meeting 20 people at a time maximum in private occasions, and then events can be up to 200, but then you have to make sure, you know, social distancing and everything. We are also encouraged not to take public transportation unless we have to, and also to avoid all traveling and you know, moving around unless we have to. But it is more open, and I think we were down at a very low R number when it came to the spread of COVID. But now it's a little bit increasing again, but it's still, at just under 1 in the ratio. So I think for now we're fine, but we have to really be very careful.
That's the thing, because we all forget because we're exhausted. I mean, that's being a human being. We cannot always remember, and especially in our Mediterranean countries, remember that we have to respect this 1 meter or 2 meters distance.
Which is very hard when you want to get used to hugging and kissing each other so much. It's very hard in Mediterranean countries, like harder.
and I think that we have been making a lot of fun of this in Norway and the Nordic countries, that we are already, you know, a very socially distanced population, so that people are like more like they're colder. So we've been making a lot of fun that now, when can we go back to the 5 meter distancing again? Which is usually what Nordic people
That's
prefer.
a nice soundbite, right?
Because 1 meter or 2 meters still feels too close.
It's just too close, right?
That's super interesting. There must be some people studying this behavior now around the world to see how each of us deal with this now. Do they still need these meters or not? Or it's super interesting. Before you got connected, we were talking with Aysu. We were saying that if we see things in a positive side when we're not sick or worse because of COVID, there are some interesting consequences. Like today, this virtual meeting, surely we wouldn't have done it before the COVID. And now there are so many webinars. No, it's very interesting times. Have you attended some physical conferences? We were talking about events with 200 people. Have you attended some of them?
We organized a small physical local event on Midsummer Eve here in Oslo, which we also streamed. So it was a combination on one of the boats in the Tool fleet. We had a seminar focused on female entrepreneurship and female investors. And then I think we were about 40 people physically participating, and then the rest online. So we mixed this. And I think this is really the way moving forward, I believe as well. Smaller physical venues combined with digital platforms so that you can connect the various smaller local groups.
Yeah, there are many combinations. It's time for creativity, right?
Definitely.
And I remember because Birgit did a road trip, and you've been to Saudi Arabia amongst other countries, right? Like maybe you can tell us about already, because because you met many women in different countries, and this is definitely something that you cannot do in the next months. I guess it would be extremely risky because of the COVID. Like if one country all of a sudden decides to close the borders. So maybe you can tell us about this road trip?
Start there? Yeah, well, this is quite interesting because, of course, now this year, after COVID broke out, now most of us are very limited when it comes to traveling and flying. But I had already started my flight-free project for 2020 from January 1st. So I had planned then for this journey to go from Oslo to India for a conference focused on female leaders in the maritime industry. But then going without the traditional transportation of aviation. And as I was traveling for a conference on female leadership, I also wanted to utilize the journey to meet with female leaders and entrepreneurs and change makers, and also speak with guys about their perception when it comes to equality and inclusion of women and the gender diversity issue. So most of the people I spoke with, of course, was as I was traveling through the Middle East. So I traveled through via cargo ship from Italy via Greece to Israel, and then I traveled through Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the Emirates via land, and part of the trip driving myself on a road trip. But I mean.
Were you alone, Birgit?
I traveled by myself, but I met with people all along the way. So most of the journey, I didn't spend time by myself, but I mean, the trip was me individually. But I used my international network before while I planned the trip. I reached out via social media on LinkedIn and Facebook, etc. I reached out to my contacts and my direct network, asking them for advice on who I should talk with, who I should meet, who I should interact with. So actually, this was such an amazing way, which is, I think, more similar to what we're doing now live here.
Okay.
On the virtual world, that I connected with people virtually beforehand. And then we made the plans. So I set up meetings. I got accommodations. So I stayed in the private homes of several of the women that I met with. And of course, that really breaks down the borders. It breaks down the physical borders and our cultural borders. And it gives us a whole different way of looking inside people's life, like we are doing now. In the COVID-19 world, where we're actually sitting in our private homes, sharing our experiences on the professional level, but still, I think we reveal more of our personal selves as well. We take down some of those barriers that we normally have when we meet physically in a conference or in a more traditional business environment.
Yeah,
I think now we get more. I think everything becomes a little bit more personal.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Well, it was very brave of you to do this road trip, especially.
Well, I don't really think so, and that was the beauty of it. I think, having worked internationally for many years with contacts around the world. I mean, this actually then, when you embark on a trip like that, I mean, you are among friends all of the time. So even though you're traveling by yourself, you have local people that either you know or you had referred to you, who are trusted contacts. So I think it's not really a very risky trip. It's more about being open for the fact that things can change on a short notice, and you have to replan, and you have to be flexible, which is something I think is a good experience for all of us. From time to time, to take ourselves out of our comfort zone and let go of the illusion of control.
Our modern society, we want to control everything.
Yeah, and I think now we realize we can't really control the world, but we can adapt.
It's a lesson we learned.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we can start now officially our webinar because we're right on time. Welcome everyone. Welcome on Envoice Radio Facebook page. And thank you for joining us. And so my name is Ansam Okbani. I'm a French lawyer. I'm right now in Marseille. And I would like to thank Envoice Radio for this initiative. And thank you, Birgit from Norway, Birgit Marie Liodden from Norway, Aysu Gurgan from Turkey, and Debora Valera from Venezuela for joining me today, for having accepted so quickly my invitation. That was amazing. I mean, it was like in 5-10 minutes. this webinar was organized. But that's what happens with very reactive and very interesting people. They don't hesitate, they don't think a lot. That's why you are women in entrepreneurship. It's you think, but like you're reasonable women, you're not crazy people. But at the same time, you go ahead, and when there is an opportunity, you take it. I'm going to introduce briefly, because before we start discussing, each one of you. So Birgit has a very original bio. She was director of North Shipping. She is the founder of Young Ship International and project manager, global systems and processes at Wilhelmsen. Director of sustainability, ocean industries and communication at Oslo Business Region. A project manager for Oslo European Green Capital's cross-industry business program. She holds executive board roles in the Norwegian Society for Sea Rescue, The Factory, Greenstat, and Bellona Foundation. She is also the working chair of the Norwegian Organization for Electric Boats. And she serves on the executive committee of Polytechnic Association Norway and the advisory boards of Rev Ocean, She Community, Generation Mobility, and Southern Africa Norway Association. And besides, Birgit is a very popular speaker and moderator, and she had this huge chance to moderate President Barack Obama, and you will tell us about this amazing experience. She also moderated several Norwegian ministers and corporate executives. She received a number of awards and rankings for her leadership in Norway and abroad. And in 2018, she was among the 150 top finalists for World Economic Forum's Young Global Leaders. And now she is the founder of TOOL, the Ocean Opportunity Lab. And we're going to talk about this more in detail in a few minutes. TOOL is the world's first floating lab and hub for entrepreneurs and innovators across ocean industries, sustainable business, and tech. So it's amazing. It seems like you're very old, but you're very young with an amazing life. And I thank you very much for having accepted this invitation. I know I can always count on you because I invited you for a Young Ship conference in Marseille. You came, and I invited you for another webinar for the International Association of Young Lawyers, and you accepted. It's really great to have you always. You always want to share your knowledge and your experience, and this is fantastic. Thank you so much, Birgit, for being with us today. And Debora Valera, which you can see on the screen, and unfortunately she cannot participate in live because, and this is a challenge that she faced because she's in Venezuela, and currently there are many problems with the internet connection in Venezuela. So but she wanted to be with us, and thank you so much, Debora, for this. And she took the time to record videos for us that we will be sharing during the webinar. And for this also, I'd like to thank you because I know it's extremely difficult. I am in contact with other Venezuelans from your team, Maria. I know you are watching, and you are facing big challenges with this interruption of internet. So thank you. Debora is a lawyer. She's a specialist in international maritime law, international master in maritime and port administration, specialist in business management, specialist in logistics of international transport, and auditor of maritime safety management systems. More than 19 years of experience support a solid professional career in high-level positions in the national and in the international sphere, as a representative before international organizations such as OAS, CIP, IMO, ROCRAM, UN Women, and the Venezuelan Maritime Authority, INEA, as a specialist, and she drafts strategies to establish international integration policies. She's a consultant of the International Maritime Organization. She was named a verified member of Women Leaders of the Americas by the Organization of American States, the OAS. She is recognized by the International Maritime Organization as a leading woman in the maritime sector. She was nominated by Vista Venezuela for the Vista Personality of the Year Award 2019. She's a very successful businesswoman who owns VSV Maritime and Port Group, which is a specialist in maritime and corporate legal consulting and maritime and port security management systems. In addition, she's the president of the Venezuela Maritime Cluster. She's the founding president of Young Ship Venezuela. She's the director of the Committee on Foreign Relations and International Cooperation, as an IMO nominated member of the Network of Women of Maritime Authorities in Latin America. And she is the founding president of Vista Venezuela. Vista, for those who don't know it, is an association that gathered all the women working in the shipping and trading activities all over the world. It's an association that exists in like more than 40 countries. So an amazing personality. And I'm very happy that you are here, and even with these difficulties. Thank you very much, Debora. And last but not least, my dear friend Aysu Gurgan, who is in Turkey. Aysu, she was born in 1985 in Izmir, in Turkey. She studied at Eylül University Maritime Faculty, Maritime Business Administration. She worked for Turkish, American, and Greek companies, and she started her own company in 2017. And since that time, she's trying her best with her energy, that people who know her know how this girl, the energy she has, she's trying her best to build and expand the company with happy people, and I'm sure they're very happy to work with you, starting as juniors and becoming seniors under one roof while they have a good time. That's a very nice program you have here. She's the executive committee member of Vista Turkey and Turkish Shipbrokers Association. And she's celebrating her 15th year in shipping as a professional this year. Wow, congratulations. You don't look that old, really.
I feel that way sometimes, rarely.
Okay, well, I will start with Birgit. Birgit, you left school at the age of 16, am I right?
That's right.
So your career is amazing also for that, and inspiring also for that, because you started, you didn't follow the classic path, and you are a very successful woman. So share with us, please, your background, your childhood.
Yeah, I think this is something that is important to share, because there are a lot of people out there who are not like straight A students and who have had challenges and difficulties early on. And I think that my story goes a little bit to tell that you can go against the odds and just work hard, and then make up for the lack of more formal education or following the more normal path. When I grew up, I never had any aspirations to be working in business or be like a career woman at all. I've always been very much out in nature and worked with animals. So I was supposed to work with horses and animals, and become a chiropractor for animals, or back in the days. And I was also, and I think I have always been quite headstrong. I had a lot of problems with my teachers when I grew up, and I came from a more like a turbulent home, oldest out of 4 siblings. So I had to take a lot of responsibility and be more kind of grown up at home. But at the same time, I challenged the teachers, and I was more the kind of problem child, and stamped and branded as that quite early. So I guess I always had the more rebellious side, which has now become one of my strengths, I think. And I think I'm a quite creative person, and I care a lot for the environment and for a fair and equal society. I love nature, so of course sustainability and environment has been very strong drivers for me. When I came into the maritime industry, that's 15 years ago now, it was not planned. Then I had been spending years working. Originally from the age of 16, I started working at a farm. And then eventually, after some few years, I had to figure out what I was going to be when I grew up. So I started working for a temp agency to try and test out different type of jobs that you can get when you are still quite young and you don't really have an education. So I tested out various type of jobs, and I ended up being hired by the temp agency internally as a receptionist, and later on an assistant. And then my first original ambition was actually to become a secretary, because I was at that point working in the reception, and I saw, working as a secretary, it seemed like very fulfilling, being able to help others to do their work better. So the only education that I actually have formally is 1 year secretarial studies as an export secretary. Then I worked for a few years in real estate, and then I came into the maritime industry, starting again as an assistant in a big global shipping company. And I think the fact that I didn't have like the traditional background, and I didn't have the connections, and I didn't have all of those established truths about how the industry works and how you're supposed to be, I think that has for me been, of course, both challenging but also very rewarding when it comes to looking at things with a fresh perspective. And I think that has enabled me to bring in different questions, bring in a different mindset, but also with an ambition from my side to really look at how can I help out, how can I help make a difference in, I mean, regardless of where you're in, if you're in a junior role or if you're then growing into more senior roles, having the focus on how can I be of value for the organization? How can I help my colleagues? How can I contribute in a way where things can be done better? So I think for me, that has all through these years, it's been my focus. But I think that many entrepreneurs often have maybe a less traditional background. Of course, my probably is a little bit more extreme, but I think there is also some really good strengths in not having followed the traditional path, because you have to be quite resourceful and creative when it comes to how you use your skills, how you use the scarce resources that you have, and get more stuff done without having a lot of people or resources to lean on, really.
Yeah.
And
this is something that because you told me about this conference with Barack Obama. It was young people.
Yeah.
No? Yeah, young people organized it, right?
Young people organized it, but the audience were like the top business leaders of Norway. So I mean, but it was an entrepreneurial organization of young people organizing it that took a space in the conference market in Norway that nobody really had taken. And they thought definitely outside the box. They came directly from business school, or they were even still at business school when they started it. And the big established players, they totally underestimated them. And they were like, oh, this is not going to work. Well, they can try and challenge us, but they will not manage. And then a few years later, these guys actually land the former president of the United States, and probably the most, I think, at least for me, the most one of the really the biggest role models for our generation.
Yes.
And the fact that Barack Obama came to Oslo for their conference was also, I think, quite thought through. That he also actually accepted an invitation from an entrepreneurial organization, because I know a lot of high-level actors in Norway who tried to get him to come, and they didn't even get a reply. But then he replied, and he actually confirmed and came, because there were young entrepreneurs who were behind it. And I think that's something that resonates with a lot of people, that it's about bringing the next generation to the table and taking in the new mindsets and new values.
Of course. I mean, that was amazing from him. It's great for these young people to have him, and it's obviously a huge support, and it shows the state of mind of President Barack Obama.
Yeah. And the funny part now is that some of those very big established players in the market and in the conference market of Norway then used to laugh as these young entrepreneurs. Now they don't laugh anymore. They bid against each other to get them to do their to organize their conference with them. So I mean, it just shows, I think, for any industry now in a time of disruption and change, it really shows how it's very easy for the established organizations to underestimate the power of new thinking and the new actors coming into the market. So we should be a bit humble on that part, I think.
Yes, but you faced the same thing, no?
Yeah, definitely. And
Okay.
several times.
Okay, we'll come back to this in a few minutes. Now I would like to hear about, from Debora. So I'm asking my dear Envoys Radio team to share with us the first part of Debora's video. Thank you again, Debora.
Hello everyone. Thank you Ansam for this invitation today to join this dialogue with these women that I also consider them a role model. I am an international maritime lawyer with an international master in maritime and port administration. Both studies performed in university in Spain. I had also a specialization in business management, a postgraduate degree in international transport logistics, later certified as internal auditor of safety management system. As a maritime entrepreneur committed to economic and maritime development, I created BSB Marine and Port Group, a company from which I had presented many important social, economic, maritime, port development projects and training programs. I am in this moment the first woman president and founder of the Venezuela Maritime Cluster, the Venezuela Maritime Chamber, first in Latin America, an organization that integrates the Venezuela Maritime, Port and Logistics Union, contributing to the development and innovation of this strategic sector for the economy of my country. Years ago, I also faced was being an excluded woman in the maritime sector. This really was a sector only for men, based on that and to eliminate any form of discrimination against women on the maritime sector, and also promote activities that allow the visible participation of women. I founded Vista Venezuela in my country, with the strong mind thinking that the equality is present in our sector. I collaborate with the IMO to formalize the network of women of maritime authorities in Latin America, Red Mambla, an organization created and sponsored by IMO, which develops initiatives in the fields of training, visibility, recognition, and empowerment for women. To support the young maritime people of Venezuela, be their voice in national and international scenarios in which they generally do not have assets. I founded and I am the current president of Jumpship Venezuela. For many of you, the big question should be, how did I manage to have a family? Also stable and very happy, and at the same time being able to be where I am in the maritime industry? The answer is that without my family, I would not have made it. In my case, my husband and my daughter are my main support. It is a reality that this position required attending conference meetings and in other countries and traveling every month. If you have a children or a couple, it might think that this would limit doing it. However, we can always find balance. My best advice is that when you get to this position, you begin to value quantity, time. So it does not matter the quantity, but the quality of the time you dedicate to family and the support you can receive for them.
Thank you very much, Debora. And thank you for being here. It's a kind of weird, but everybody is adapting, right? Yes, it's right that you founded Youngship Venezuela. So Youngship, we have here Birgit, who founded like 15 years ago, right, Birgit? You found it?
No, well, Young Ship was founded first locally in Bergen and Oslo back in 2004, 2005. And then I came on board in 2006 and I founded Young Ship International 2011. So it's, well, 9 years ago.
Yeah, time flies. But thank you, because thanks to you, well, I co-founded Young Ship in France. I know there is Young Ship in Turkey. Debora founded Young Ship in Venezuela, and there are Young Ship in a lot of countries now. And we're connecting more and more, especially with the COVID situation. And so it started a few years ago, and now it's your baby growing, growing up.
And I have to say, I find it so rewarding because when I established Young Ship International, there was still very few visible young female leaders in our industry. And one of the things that we did when we set up the framework for Young Ship internationally was that there was a very spoken ambition that we wanted it to be a vehicle for young leaders or people with potential leadership skills to develop through the Young Ship organization worldwide. And also we wanted diversity and the inclusion of female talents to be very central. So we formed the structure of the organization in a way that would make it more appealing also to the female talents, to change this gap of male and female leadership, and also embrace the ideas of entrepreneurship. And I think that all of you guys that are gathered here today, you know, years after I left Young Ship operationally, I see that you guys bring the spirit onwards, and that it has actually worked of really promoting amazing female talents and leaders to step up and continue that work and bring more voices and more collaboration that will change our industry from within, and also that creates visible role models for other girls our age and younger to step up to the game. And it's so inspiring seen from my side. And I mean, I couldn't have wished for a better outcome. And it's still just, I mean, it's still early. So I think that this will still continue to grow and nurture a big generation of amazing, bright talents that can collaborate across borders and cultures.
Thank you. Well, Aysu, let's hear about your background. Let's hear about like your childhood, your family environment, your friends. Were you in an entrepreneurial, that's a very difficult word in English. So I'm not gonna repeat it. You understood my question?
I understand you. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. And after listening to these two amazing women, I'm questioning myself that what I'm doing here, really. So lucky to be here with you. Thank you so much. So
your place very, very well deserved.
Thank you so much. After listening to very inspiring stories about coming from these two amazing women, I'm questioning really from where to start, because comparing with the ladies, I am just, you know, getting aware that I have a long way still. But okay, let me start from where you asked me. The childhood, grew up in a happy family. And my father is a doctor, so my mother was a teacher at the university. So no connection with trade and nothing related as such business model like I am in. But the weird part is my father supported me a lot to do an international business, because I was kind of a little bit crazy kid, let me put it this way, with a boy's soul in a female body, like the way my father describes me. So I think he knew what to expect from the daughter. And he was like, okay, you're good with people, and you know, you don't believe in the limits, the borders, and you want to see all the world, so why not doing something international? So that's how my university actually started. And you know, in Turkey, I don't know the system, but more or less in every country it's the same. I guess now you're getting a grade first, then you're trying to understand yourself at such early age, like 18, and you are choosing a profession to study, and then boom, I mean, after graduating from university, if you're lucky, you do your job. If you're not, then you start over maybe, or you convert your career, maybe very much not connected with what you have studied at university. I was this, you know, in the first 50, the lucky ones. And I'm just so proud to say, thanks God and to my father, I studied where I did, the maritime faculty, and I love what I'm doing right now. And what I did after studying at maritime business, after graduate, actually before graduating, while I was studying, also maritime is like an endless ocean, and you don't know what to do when you graduate from that university. And thanks God we had really good people around us and trying to give us a head up about what we can be or what we can deal with after graduating from the uni. And you know, only one word just caught me all of a sudden, and it's ship brokering. And whatever they told about it, it was just, you know, it was me. They were describing a kind of person who should deal with this profession. And yeah, I that moment, I think it was the first class and the fresh ones. And then I knew what I want to do. So after the third year, you know, we are studying like 4 years, and the third year, I wanted to have a little bit of, you know, idea about it. So I started as a part-time, but I was studying in Izmir, which is the third biggest city, and like 600 kilometers away from Istanbul, a little bit on the south and west, across Greece. And so I wanted, but Istanbul is the capital city of trades and economy of Turkey. So if you want to be someone in the trades or in the shipping, you got to be here. Before graduating, I kind of partly moved to Istanbul, and I found a really good community to be a part of. A ship owner company. It was the biggest fleet, a coaster fleet of that time. Still, actually, it is one of them. And I was lucky to find people who taught me what I know. At least 40% of what I know right now still, you know, coming from the owner's side. That's what I always say. If you want to know about shipping, you have to start at the owner's side, because all the story goes there and the adventures. So after that, after 4.5 years, I worked for an American company. Again, then I started to see the operations of the bigger tonnages, like, and the rest of the world, because, you know, the coasters here in this area are #1 players of Mediterranean and Black Sea trade. But if you want to see the rest of the world, you gotta know the bigger tonnage. And then in the American company I worked for, I started chartering, and while I was working there also, I started to fix the vessels of one of my clients, which I'm still doing. And then I started as a panel broker of that company for a Greek company who opened a branch office for me in Istanbul. I know I just mixed it a little, but you got me, right? And after that 3 years again there, I moved to Athens finally to decide, I mean, to continue or find my own way. And to really, the question was what I want to do.
Yeah.
About my life, about myself and if I have the courage to change things in life. And what I learned in all these periods, first of all, I'm so thankful to Vista community, because if I'm here today, even it's because of Vista, thanks to my friend, Dr. Sinem Ogis, because she is the founder of Youngship Turkey. That's how I exactly sending all the best wishes to her. And also, I know Ansam for a long time from Vista International, and Debora as well. And I am so lucky to get to know you, Birgit, today here. Thank you, all of you. So I met amazing females during all this journey, because in a such men's world, it wasn't easy to be a young girl at age of 20, coming to a big city, even before graduating. And you know, what you learn in countries like Turkey, which is a modern country, and we are lucky, but all the trade and the money and shipping community is dominated by males in most of the countries, and Turkey is one of them. Yes, we are lucky here in Turkey, more than many other countries, but I'm just hoping in 10 years, females will be much luckier than I am, even now. And I think how it happened when I came to make a decision at that point, I took the courage from another female who is my first junior in life, who is already a senior, and she gave me the courage saying, okay, why do not we try to write our own story? It was like a 4 years ago conversation. And I was like, are you sure we're gonna make it? I mean, what if? And she was like, what if? Then we sell meatballs and I don't know what, but we're gonna be fine. That day I learned that you really, if you wanna be happy, you need people around you to walk together with, that you believe in the same things and you share. You teach and you learn at the same time. This is all life is about, and love together.
Yes.
Preferably not cry together, but if you need to, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So that's how we started 2 people. Then in 1 month we became 3, and in a year 4, 5, 6. Now today we are 12 people. Wow. And actually, I made a big announcement for myself a couple of days ago to the community. Maybe you heard about it, or maybe you read about it. After 3.5 years of this journey, which really went well, thanks God to my team, thanks to my team, and with all their support, what I'm dedicated to is raising the juniors. Because when I was a junior, I was lucky to find a place who is paying attention and teaching me, because this business is, you know, you gotta find someone who is teaching you, you know, giving a hand to you. And that's how you learn about the details. And I was lucky enough, but what if I wasn't? Because I saw many others who are not lucky as much as I was. And I wanted to be that hand. And my team is all, you know, just starting with the juniors, and they're becoming seniors. And if I really worked in really good companies, but you know, not the way I wanted them to be, maybe. So I said, if you have this much ideas, girl, why don't you try yourself then? Be such kind of, you know, the team leader that you always wanted to be like. And I'm dealing with the young people also studying at universities, and which is inspiring me a lot, because I'm seeing all this flame in their eyes. I used to have exactly the same when I was at their ages. Remember, and those years we didn't have even Google and no Skype, ICQs. And, you know, I'm talking about 20 years ago. They don't believe me as well, but I'm telling the truth. Trying to be more in touch with them. And that's also, you know, the opposite mentoring is very popular nowadays in the world for the last couple of years. We all need young people to teach us about the new world. which we had no idea about. I mean, technology is not one of my strong hands, but trying to get to know, more and more.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So a couple of days ago, I announced that I am not the only senior, the senior, let me put it this way, in this company, because one of my closest friends, whom we are working really close with for a long time, and if you want to know someone, travel with them, trade with them, and fix a vessel. And if you're still friends after fixing the vessel, then they're right friends for you. And he's one of the good, really one of my best friends. Now I proposed him to be a partner of Aqua, and he accepted. So we doubled our number. Now we are 12 people, and I'm trying to, just arrange the desks, in the office to fit.
Great.
I have new heartbeats nowadays. I'm so happy,
Congrats for all the work done and this state of mind and the fact that you don't think of stopping. Like you want to transmit, you want to help, you think, you already think of the next generation while you are supposed to be the next generation, that's the funny thing. It's like and Debora, I know you have the same spirit. Birgit, of course you have the same spirit since you were born. No, you are thinking ahead. Wow, that's well, congrats for this, and I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure you will succeed more and more. And you were talking about Vista. I'm also a member of Vista France. Birgit, I guess you're a member of Vista Norway. Yes.
I am honorary member as after the Vista Award back in 2012, but I was also on the board of Vista Norway for 6 years after I was awarded as their profile of the year back then. So I think that's also something. I think we're both in Youngship and Vista, all of us. And that was also a strategic move that was made years ago because we saw the amount of amazing support given. Vista was also a very strong force in supporting me along the way from my early years in the maritime industry. And especially, I think, both from the board back then in Norway, but also from the board of Vista America, Netherlands, France, several of the boards in the national branches of Vista were really supportive. And I think this is, the soul and the spirit of the work that all of us do now is really the embracing the mentality of paying it forward, as others have been paying it forward to us, supported us early on in our careers. And then it's both our blessing and our privilege and our duty to keep on opening the industry and opening the doors wider as we go through them.
Yes, and Debora is the founding president of Vista Venezuela. Vista is a great network for all women. But let's be honest. We're not going to say that all women are saints and that all men are horrible and that, no. Let's be realistic. There is also jealousy. There are also some women who would like to see you fail. So I'm going to start
the very truth, okay.
No, because we don't live in a perfect world.
But I think that we can push the ideals and the values that we stand for, and the more we do that, the more it will both support others, but the more it will also encourage others to take on those kind of values where you lift each other rather than pushing each other out.
That's true. And if we are more and more doing this, then it's going to be better. I would like to hear about the challenges you faced. I'm starting with you, Birgit. Amongst your family, your friends, colleagues, people external from your familiar environment, what particular challenges you faced in your career, in your life?
I think I've been very lucky when it comes to my friends and family. I think since I grew up in an environment where there wasn't any pressure on me, I have rather been very free to just test myself and not been really afraid of failing. But I've also had a family that don't really care about what I do. I mean, they care about the type of person I am. They don't put any pressure on me, but also they are, of course, really happy when I succeed. But I think for them, and also for my friends, my personal friends, they don't really care about my achievements. They care if I'm happy and if I'm feeling that I can contribute with value. And I think that's good, because you want people in your life that are there for the right reasons and not because of who you are or what you succeed with or what you fail on. Then I also have an amazing group of a lot of industry friends. So I think I've been bridging this work and personal life over many years. So a lot of my good friends are from the industry. And then you want to be sure, of course, also that you surround yourself with people who are there regardless of your, you know, if you're in a powerful position or if you're not. You want to have the people that are actually honest and open and true. And once, like for me, when you've been through some ups and downs, you also very easily see who are there only in the periods where you succeed and then go away if you face challenges. Then I think it's quite fair to open up a little bit more on the personal life, which I don't on this part, but I think when it comes to female leaders and entrepreneurs, you are even more vulnerable or even more depending on having a supporting partner. I think that one of the biggest choices that you make in order to be able to have that freedom of pursuing a career and traveling a lot, like working in an international industry like ours, you really need a partner who are there for you and with you. And I think for me, I have two amazing kids with my ex, but I can also be quite honest and say that I think that he would have been much more happy, and we would probably have been together still, unless it had been for my work and career. Because I think for many guys, and even here in Norway, there are a lot of guys who struggle to tackle the idea that you have a female partner who are working more than you, making a more income or traveling more or building stuff.
Even in Norway.
Even in Norway. And I definitely see that a lot of guys still feel threatened. And then there are a lot of amazing guys who don't feel threatened. And that goes across all cultures. So you see supportive guys in Middle East and all around the world, and then you see more old-fashioned guys even in Norway. but I think that when you are pursuing like a challenging career, you really need to also think about how this will impact your personal life. And I think that when you start out in the early stage of the career as a younger woman or girl, you don't necessarily think about, you know, having those conversations with your partner. And also about how you are going to balance two careers, or one doing more career and the other less into a career. So I think for me the biggest challenges has been actually on our like core family. Then when it comes to the kids, I have two small boys, age 7 and almost 6, and they have been with me all through like both of my startup or entrepreneurial experiences, and then through North Shipping and Oslo Business Region in between there. But I have had the amazing opportunity of bringing my boys with me a lot for work. So they have traveled around the world with me, with the WISTA conferences and business meetings and everything, and they basically grew up on boats and ships and under board meeting tables. And I think that it's good for for little boys to see hardworking, independent mothers. I think it also goes to their next generation that when they're growing up, hopefully they will value that independence. And then as I brought my ex into this, which is maybe not that fair, but I still think important in a discussion like this, what I have had, which is amazing, is that me and my kid's father, we have had a very equal parenting all through the period. So he is an amazing father, and we split the time between our kids 50-50. But also while we were together, we have always had a very equal distribution of workload and responsibilities and parenting. So that has been something very valuable for me. So that, I mean, looking at this issue on how we balance the chores and the tasks at home, who takes care of the kids, who are following them up when it comes to school and practical stuff, and how much space do you give your partner, or how much space does he want when it comes to parenting. I think the more equal you can bring the parental and the parental roles and the family life to be, then the easier doing the career and the work family fusion or work family balance can be. But I think this is an issue that really needs to be addressed more in our industry and among both the guys and the girls. Because I also think that when we speak about equality should also be the ability for guys not to have to be the breadwinner, and for them to take more time at home and actually get to know their kids more and have more freedom.
Yes, because it's a lot of pressure also on men.
Yeah.
There are men who would love to spend hours playing with their kids, but they know that society does not allow them to do so.
No. So I also think that in this discussion, when it comes to entrepreneurship and leadership and equality, we also need to look at both sides of equality and how we can work together across men and women to create, I mean, we can now redefine the roles that we live after. We don't have to stick with the 1950s or 1980s structures anymore. We can make up our own structure. And I do know a lot of guys in our industry who have also negotiated taking parental leave or having a different type of balance. So I think in this game, we are really in it together. The female and male leaders and employees of our industry has, I think now, a lot of the same desires to have both sides.
Mm-hmm. And did you have this discussion during your road trip? And you can share with us this road trip, because we started talking while we were warming up, but now that people have joined, you can share with us your experience.
Yeah, and that's so amazing. I think as I stayed with and spoke with and spent time with women from very different cultures, I stayed for several days with an Israeli family up north in Israel, where this friend of mine, who's also one of the partners in the tool community, working with the sustainable leadership and transformation. Her husband has actually given up and let her now fulfill her dreams as an entrepreneur, while he is taking care of bringing more kind of the security and stability into the family economy, which I think is amazing. And then, of course, Israel is already a very equal society. Then I went onwards to Jordan, which is a country where you expect more differences. And I spent time with another good business friend, Malak Al-Akieli, who is an importer of energy and grain into Jordan. She's also an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. And she is also really the one who does the career. And her husband is the one who takes extra initiatives and efforts at home. So he's also working, but she is the one who has been, you know, let loose to really accelerate and build amazing initiatives and to really utilize her capabilities. And I think I didn't expect this level of equality and this level of partnership there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spent almost a week in Saudi Arabia. My key driver companion there is a young woman the age of 28. She grew up with a single mom, working mom, in Saudi Arabia. Late 80s, early 90s. And she told me about, you know, her mother being a very strong role model for her. So she took her education in the United States, and then she came back to Saudi to also help building that change and the next generation movement from within. So you see, I think you have very different but also very strong and capable females who are very dedicated to collaborating with other females and men on really pushing change and in the right direction that they believe in. And where I saw that regardless of our, you know, we come from different parts of the world, different cultures, religions and nationalities, but we share the same mindset and we share the same dedication. And then I spent a lot of time speaking with female leaders and entrepreneurs traveling through the Middle East, but I also spent a lot of time talking with the guys. So I spoke with high-level governmental male leaders, business leaders, other male entrepreneurs from within all of these countries. And I also asked them about their perspectives on sustainability and equality. And I was really positively surprised. I think of myself as rather unbiased, but I also met my own biases that I was unaware of, which were, you know, the bias towards other cultures where I see them from my lens from Norway and expecting the equality to be less. And then I actually meet the true and real stories and people who are changing their societies from within, taking on new role mix. And I spoke with one of the Jordanian male politicians who has really been in the forefront of pushing equality. And while we were having a meeting in his office, his daughter and granddaughter came in. And it turns out, you know, that they have, while he has been working on the governmental side for equality, he has also really been doing the drill at home. And we talked about how this, I mean, we have to work from different aspects from, but the quality work really starts in the home. And he has several daughters who are entrepreneurs. And of course, he is discussing these issues with them and bringing them their perspectives back into the politics of the country, which is great. And I also saw that that within Saudi Arabia, there were some very strong and very vocal male champions that push for gender equality and change. So I mean, this is what I also really believe is the future, that we have to go this road and to create this new road together. But I do believe we are like in a really big shift now, where this is so much more discussed openly in social media. We don't have the same limitations anymore. All of us can see what is going on in other countries if we actually take the time. Yes. And then we can inspire each other, and we can support and lift each other. And we can also learn and look at like the good examples and the best practice from various countries and cultures on how we can do this transition.
Yeah, well, wow, that's an amazing journey you had, really. And you did it alone. You were saying you did it alone, but you met many people from your international network.
Yeah, I utilized the international network from months ahead. So I reached out to a lot of leaders and people that I know from within different countries and regions, and I told them that I was going to do this trip, and then I asked them to come with recommendations of which other people I should meet with, what I should visit, what interesting projects are going on, etc. So I mean, this shows really the limitless opportunities that we have when we utilize the virtual world and the virtual landscape that we now have to do during COVID.
Yes. Wow, so interesting. Aysu, you also face some challenges when you because your mic is, we don't hear you. Your mic, please. Thank you. Yeah.
All of us all face the challenges, right? Male or female, I mean, if you're starting from something from zero, you always face challenges.
Yes.
But as a female, well, it wasn't the easiest thing in my life, maybe. And when I was listening to Birgit, you know what I said inside for you? At least, I mean, you were lucky to have the kids. Right? I mean, the best thing a female can do, or a person can have, the most precious thing, definitely the kids, and growing them up healthy and see them happy. Well, while working too much, you know, in all these crowds, and I couldn't find the right time, I guess, to concentrate on the other side of the line. So, if you ask me if I'm regretting anything all my life, maybe at a young age, what I'm suggesting to everyone, definitely get married and have kids. Then, you know, you always have the time to work, because when you start to work, well, it's a little hard to go back again. But well, that was the first thing I told my business partner. Okay, thanks God you're here. Now it's my time to go and have a family. That's the plan. As a female, when starting the things in a country like Turkey, well, I mean, it's hard enough. All the, you know, just journey I'm talking about. For everyone, it's hard, true, because also Turkey is a different country than the others. It's pretty crowded here. So it means there's huge competition also. And the toughest competition can be in life is between females. That's also I know. But I had the greatest support from the females. That's why the vista in my life is just standing somewhere so precious, always, of the community. But, you know, it's very well selected people gathered, you know, united under one roof. Kind of vista community also we have here. I think that's the luckiest part. And also, I'm a lucky person with the family I grew up in and the family I chose from all the friends I have. As you mentioned, they just care if I'm happy. And if I receive from life is fair for me. It's my part of share. That's all they care. But they're so proud with the things I'm achieving, because it's huge efforts, of course, huge concentration. And in order to keep things moving here, you have to give up from things from your social life. You don't drink and party till morning, or you don't go to a vacation and switch the mobile off. No way. For 15 years, I don't know myself going to a vacation for a week and plus not talking on the phone. All of my family members kind of, you know, fed up with me because I'm talking over the phone or doing something during the time you're spending. But, you know, there's always this phone we have is just for urgent matters. But the thing is, in shipping, everything is so urgent.
Yeah.
Now they know about it. Okay, these are the, you know, the key things maybe I can comment. Otherwise, I'm happy with everything I have.
Okay, great then.
No complaints.
Fantastic. Now we're gonna talk about your current project. So tool for Birgit, Aqua for Aysu, VSB for Debora. We'll start with tool, Birgit, because again, it's very original. You are the best person to explain it.
Yeah, well, the Ocean Opportunity Lab, which I started last year, is really my way of building the company that I would have liked to work for earlier on. I worked with sustainability and diversity and inclusion and openness and entrepreneurship and the next generation for many years, and throughout all my different roles. And then last year, I finally had the opportunity now of really stretching the limits and the boundaries much more than I could have done in an established organization. So last year, I built a startup for other startups, really, an engine and an accelerator for others to succeed, which follows the concept that we used when we built Youngship internationally, building a global community for the next generation. Back then, it was about building a community and group of people. And now the Ocean Opportunity Lab is a resource box for the same people. So it is, per now, it includes the world's first floating lab for entrepreneurs and innovators. We have retrofitted and redesigned an old veteran ferry that used to transport people and cars on the west coast of Norway. And then we have spent, now we have, well, we are 11 months into the development of tool, but we have also spent now the COVID period to develop two digital platforms for ocean entrepreneurs. The first one is a virtual conference and exhibition platform, where we now have all our partners on board, where they can showcase and connect with each other all through the year without spending a lot of resources and time. And we can both organize events and activities ourselves, but we can also host partner events. So end of September, we will have Sanjam Gupta's Maritime CEO Conference, which was the original destination for my trip through the Middle East in March. Her conference is postponed physically to next year, but she will do the virtual in-between version of it on our aquarium platform this autumn. And the idea there is really to enable the early phase innovators and entrepreneurs to get access to the same type of technology and solutions that usually only are open for the big players with big budgets and resources. Then our other platform is what I can most accurately describe as a Tinder to match entrepreneurs and innovators with resources from the established ecosystem. But instead of finding the love of your life, you will go to our platform to find the resources that you need just now in any phase that you're in. You can go there to either find business opportunities and unresolved problems, or to post resources that you need in any phase, whether you need an early phase customer or partner, or need to find funding, or you need to find co-founders, or you basically need expert advice. For the established industry, they can then go in and post what kind of resources that they have that they want to share with entrepreneurs and innovators. So the entire Ocean Opportunity Lab project is built on the paid forward mindset, where we want to reward and acknowledge the value of people who helps others to succeed. And we currently have now a bit over 100 partners in 15 countries. And And that's, I think, just the start. We haven't really started promoting it much yet, as we are now in an open beta period on the digital parts. And end of September, we are launching the big and much more advanced version of the platform. So
Exciting.
Yeah. It's basically a structure and a resource box for the innovators and entrepreneurs to be able to succeed and find others that they need on their journey quicker and more efficiently and more transparently.
Mm-hmm. Well, looking forward to the new developments then. We will follow you, of course. I think we have some input from Debora. My dear Envoys Radio team, do you think you can launch the second part?
My challenge as a woman was to create each of the space that I had wanted to occupy, because I started very young in the maritime industry. So as an extremely young woman, I decided to study, specialize, and train to order to acquire the high level to the competence that the maritime sector needs. And yes, as women, even in this century, we have to demonstrate that we can and we are capable. Finally, all that I had achieved is has not achieved by being a woman. It has been achieved by being able. The biggest challenge was to people trusting me in my work, because the result of my work are not only for the one person. In my case, the results are reflected in my country and the entire Latin American region. Now, the biggest challenge is not to disappoint them and fail to this truth. On the other hand, as obstacle along the way and my path, I had met people that do not want to the open on the maritime sector to women and young people. Overcoming these people has also been a challenge.
Thank you, Deborah. I know that for women in Venezuela, you are a true role model. They admire you very much. So thank you again. I know it's hard for you not to be able to interact with us. And I'm taking this opportunity to say to people following us on Facebook that if they have questions for Debora, please write them on Facebook page and we will pass it on to her, and she'll be more than happy to reply in writing. Aysu, could you please talk about your company, what you're doing currently?
What's going to happen in the next stage, I guess. Okay, that part is the most, just concentrated on having the fun part actually for us. Now we are pretty crowded for a brokering house, which we are giving service as. We are not managing any vessels. We are more like cargo side, and together with both owners and charters we are working. So in all the areas we are active, but mostly centralized as Europe and Turkey. You can just think about it. But we have clients everywhere and we have friends everywhere. So why not having some pop-up office? We are not going to be the first company doing it. In tanker side, I heard about those, and I was attending some social events, especially in order to understand how these things are going, because our business especially is all networking, all about networking and socializing and being productive, but happy is the new product. So I need to keep the team happy, first of all. That's, I'm very well aware, because even we are in this business to make money, if you put it this way, but it's not the only goal, right? It's about sharing it. and it's trying to affect more lives, more people, and pulling them in a circle that they will be comfortable and happy to be surrounded. So I'm starting from my own circle. What is planned is, for the countries we are working the most, is start this pop-up office project. How it's gonna work for a month or 3 weeks periods, but after this corona, of course, maybe 2021 will be our first pop-up office. In some capitals of Europe we are starting, in order to invite our friends. We are working there or who wants to meet face-to-face, because this business is so weird. I mean, you're working with everyone and for many years and you don't get to see them. You need to travel. But what about if you host them in their own city even, or if they're passing by, why not? Together, come face to face. Any value will it gonna add to the company? This is not the goal. All this project is about is for the team to get to know the culture and reach people to the more than social distance, you know, getting closer, and to have an experience about life. Because while working this much in long hours, also we are missing some life experiences that we should have in an early age, young ages. So this is what I would love when I was at 20s. So why not trying it? And getting social with the team is another subject, but while getting social, also we need to teach the team things. So here is starting a co-academy also, not only our team, and also the students graduated from university. I cannot, you know, metric square meter basis, we don't have enough space. I would love to have more than 12 young people around me, but it's not possible. But still, in order to make a difference, I want this Aqua Academy to be detailed in their lives, adding value to themselves. Because the weirdest thing in our side of shipping is nobody hires juniors. Everybody wants a little bit of experience, but if you do not hire a 0 kilometer junior, how the junior gonna have an experience? So this is the base mathematics of this academy, which is making my heart beat faster. At least I will have more opportunity to get to know more young people and do things for them and maybe inspire them for a life with less borders and a bigger one. And they will understand how big the world is and how small we are while doing it. Instead of getting afraid of the outside, at least they will be more encouraged when they get to know other people and step in an environment that they will definitely compete and struggle and have difficulties, but also they will know at least they don't have to be this much afraid. These are the two things presently we are dealing with, as well as this partnership, of course, because it's a new system already for us. And another side business, actually I wasn't talking about this out loud because as a person I'm just trying to do first then talk about it, but Birgit inspired me. Why not to share good things while we are chit-chatting girls here, right, between us.
We're alone.
Exactly. And that's what I'm counting on, but I haven't seen Facebook page, by the way. So okay, the hardest part is, we are also competing with, maybe in the business, with many other things affecting us, plus the technology, because it's the innovation era. And how to be a part of this innovation. I'm just, thinking about it for at least 5 years. We started something with one of my friends from childhood. And he's actually a captain, a real one, worked on the water like 11 years, not a short period, and moved to America, working there already. and he's pretty smart, which I'm definitely not at that part, you know, and he is doing all the hard work basically. And he came up with an idea 5 years ago, asked me if what I'm doing as a business can be done with a platform. I said, definitely not. But everybody believes the opposite also, I know. But you know, what brokers are adding value into what? And right now, lately, nowadays, we are seeing more and more this tender kind of working models, you know, collecting all the systems, platforms. It's more than 5 already we have, which we started years ago, but it took, you know, a lot of time. Now it's very ready to get out. But the thing is, we have 23 different chapters for this. It's all about freights. And the name is unfreighted. For everyone not to remain unfreighted, but when you're calculating a freight of something, a container, sea freight and air freight, everything for a bulk cargo, a tanker, a project, and everything, a container, whatever, even one single material that you want to send somewhere, you need a lot of additional information to calculate, or you need people that you need to ask it. So this platform will allow you to do it, to find the right people, like a Tinder, and you will be going out with your needs, and then you will start collecting the things. Let me give only this much details right now, but when it's out, it will be out. It will be so easy to check it and even track your containers, and then right after that, where your you know, things went, where there's waiting for your custom clearances, everything in one. We will be offering, as well as the dry, and as well as it will make the life much easier to find the lawyers and the agents. If you need bunkers, or if you need, you know, whatever comes to your mind, all in one, kind of. So that was a secret project. Now it's not secret anymore.
Thank you very much, Aysu, for this information, and thank you because you want to share it with us. I'm very happy and flattered, and I wish you the best of luck, and we will also follow you and support you. Okay, I have just one person harassing me since he heard that you spoke with Barack Obama, Birgit, and asking me, was he cool? So please, can you answer this very important question?
You said, what's the...
Was he cool, Barack Obama?
He was cooler than I had expected. And I mean, I've been looking up to his way of communicating and engaging people on important issues for years, of course, but he was very laid back, very, I think, humble and engaged. And I think he has done his homework when it comes to making other people feeling relaxed and paying attention to them. So he had prepared and read up on my background and CV. He commented specifically on his appreciation for the work that we've been doing and that I've been pushing for female leaders in the business sector, and especially in the shipping industry. As he knows, it's very male dominated. So he complimented on that part, and also encouraged me and others to continue that work, as he's so important. And I think that I think probably what I hadn't expected was for him, it seemed that he really values the outside the box thinking and the diversity aspects, both when it comes to this you know, lack of traditional higher education, and also pushing change. That's also something we discussed on the stage, which we talked about backstage before we went on, was really to see the potential of people regardless of their formal education or their current position, but rather look at the drive and the engine inside of the people, and let young people and talents come in and get their chances to develop, even when they lack the formal education or experience. So I think that resonates very well with the discussion here today as well.
Yes.
But definitely, he's a cool guy, and I wish we had, and I think we have some leaders in our industry with that caliber type of really thinking ahead and building movements. And I think we need even more of those.
Well, thank you for this answer. Now we're gonna hear about Debora's future projects. If you and Voice Radio team, please.
I had developed the base to support the maritime companies, women, and the young of my country. I am currently developing international cooperation strategies to open a space for participation and cooperation between the Latin American and Caribbean countries on sustainable development, with special interest in the imminent and disruptive changes in the different social, economic, and structural aspects in general, which can be an opportunity to propose solutions to advance actively and jointly in our development as a region. In addition, I want to be the voice of all women that had no voice, and not only the women in the maritime industry, but also those who are mistreated in their homes, in their job, and those who do not know that they have the strength to change their life.
Yes, that's a very good conclusion, Deborah. There are so many women who don't even know that they are very strong, that they have a great potential, that they can do many things, and they need other women to help them be aware of their own strength. So very good project, and I'm not surprised you're thinking about doing this. And coming to you, Birgit, you started talking about the projects already, and do you have like in the long term, do you have some projects?
Good to share, maybe.
Well, I think whenever I think for me, whenever I start working on projects, I always share them openly from the beginning, because I think I really truly believe that when we're working with innovation, normally we will not be the only smart brain. So I prefer to start talking about my ideas and concept very openly and globally from the beginning, so that I can attract other good thinkers that I can develop the ideas and the projects with, which is what I have been doing, both when it comes with Youngship and Worshipping and Tool now. I think for me now, Tool is really a life task. But what I do hope is to see that we can branch out Tool in various parts of the world with other creative, open, engaged people and leaders that are run by the paid forward mentality and the focus on how shipping and the maritime industry and the ocean industries can serve the world in a different way and help resolving global issues from the ocean sector. So I think that we will later this year, we will reveal the model for franchising out Tool globally. So then I will be looking for business partners around the world to help this community grow and really become a force for global collaboration and bringing the best brains to the table for inclusion and for really hitting the next generation of ocean business and solutions based on the UN SDGs. So that will be in the pipeline. It is in the pipeline, and it's not really a big secret. But I guess I didn't say it anywhere out loud.
Well, thanks again, Ben. Well, I'm super happy, really, to know you, the three of you, as a person, because the three of you are really great human beings, and you showed it again today that you're not just great professionals, very competent and passionate about your job, but you really are good souls, good human beings, and I'm very lucky to know the three of you, and I would like really to thank you very, very, very much for taking the time today. Debora, with your challenges in Venezuela, you are here with us. Thank you so much. And we will follow you. I hope we'll have other webinars in which we will meet. I'm sure we will have them in the future. And I would like to thank Envoys Radio team for their job and for the idea, because the idea came from Envoys Radio. And thank you again. Good luck with all these amazing projects you have. And we keep in touch.
And thank you, Ansam, for always great initiatives and great work.
Thank you, Birgit. Well, I will then see you very, very soon.
Thank you so much for your time, girls. And it's a pleasure. It's an honor to get to know you. Thank you.
Yeah, and likewise, I look forward to staying in touch. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.